Marcus wiped down the last champagne glass and surveyed the grand ballroom one more time. The crystal chandeliers sparkled like stars above rows of perfectly set tables draped in ivory linen. Tonight was the annual charity gala at the Riverside Hotel, and Marcus needed this shift to go perfectly. His 8-year-old daughter Emma had been asking about dance lessons, and those classes didn't come cheap for a single father working 2 jobs. At 42, Marcus had learned that pride was a luxury he couldn't afford, but dignity was something he'd never surrender. He adjusted his black shirt with the hotel logo and took his position near the kitchen doors. The guests began arriving in their tuxedos and evening gowns, and Marcus moved to the crowd with practiced efficiency. He had worked enough of these events to become invisible, and that was exactly how he preferred it. Then she walked in. The young woman wore a midnight blue gown that would have been stunning, if not for the angry red scar that traced down her right cheek like a lightning bolt. She couldn't have been more than 25, and she held her head high even as other guests stared and whispered. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He knew that look in her eyes because he had seen it in his own mirror after his wife left. It was a look of someone who had learned to armor themselves against the world's cruelty. Behind her walked an older man in his 60s with silver hair and the commanding presence of someone used to being the most important person in any room. Robert Chin was the CEO of Chin Industries and the event's primary sponsor. His hand rested protectively on his daughter's shoulder as they made their way to the head table. Throughout dinner, Marcus noticed how the daughter whose name he learned was Catherine sat quietly while conversation flowed around her. Young men approached the table to greet her father, but their eyes would land on her scar and quickly look away. Each time it happened, Catherine's smile became a little more fixed and a little less real. When dessert was clear, the band began to play, and couples moved to the dance floor. Catherine remained seated watching the dancers with an expression that broke something inside Marcus. Her father leaned close and whispered something, but she shook her head. Robert's face creased with worry, and in that moment Marcus saw not a powerful soul, but simply a father who didn't know how to ease his daughter's pain. Marcus had been refilling water glasses at a nearby table when the band began playing an old jazz standard. It was the same song he used to dance to with Emma in their small apartment when she couldn't sleep. Without allowing himself time to think or doubt, Marcus walked directly to the head table. His heart hammered, but his steps never faltered. He stopped in front of Catherine and extended his hand with a slight bow. "May I have this dance?" The conversations around them died. Catherine looked up at him startled, and Marcus saw her eyes widen as she realized he was asking her, not serving her. Her father stiffened, ready to intervene, but Catherine slowly placed her hand in Marcus's. He led her to the dance floor, aware of every eye in the room, following them. As they began to move, Marcus kept his eyes on hers, never once glancing at the scar that seemed to fascinate everyone else. "You dance beautifully," Catherine said quietly, and there was surprise in her voice. "My daughter is my teacher," Marcus replied with a warm smile, "though she claims I still step on her toes too much." "You have a daughter, Emma, and she's the reason I know that the bravest people are the ones who keep showing up even when the world makes it hard." Catherine's composure cracked just slightly. "How did you know I needed this?" "Because I've been there," Marcus said gently, not with a scar on my face, but with scars people can't see, and I know what it's like when people stop seeing you and only see what happened to you. "A car accident," Catherine whispered 6 months ago, "and I survived, but sometimes I wonder the girl I was didn't die anyway." Marcus shook his head firmly. "She didn't die, but she got stronger, and strength always comes with scars." The song swelled, and Marcus spun her gently. Other couples had stopped dancing to watch, but Marcus kept Catherine moving, kept her focus on the music and the moment. When the song ended, the room erupted in applause. Catherine's eyes were bright with tears, but she was smiling a real smile for the first time that evening. "Thank you," she whispered. Marcus bowed again and returned to his station. He didn't see Robertson approach until the older man was standing beside him. The CEO's eyes were red. "What you just did for my daughter," the man said, and his voice broke. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Since the accident, she won't leave the house and won't see her friends, and tonight was the first event I convinced her to attend. And then I watched her sit there while everyone pretended she was invisible. Sometimes we all need someone to remind us we're still here," Marcus said simply. Robert pulled out his wallet, but Marcus raised his hand. I didn't do it for money, sir. And I don't need thanks, and I just saw someone who needed a dance. Robert's hand trembled as he put his wallet away. You have a daughter, you said. Emma, and she's 8. Robert handed Marcus a business card. Come to my office Monday morning, and I'm expanding my operations team, and I need people who understand what really matters. Marcus stared at the card. Sir, I'm just a waiter. You're a man who sees people, Robert said firmly, and who acts with kindness when no one is watching, and that's exactly what I need. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. When Marcus's shift ended, he found Catherine waiting by the staff entrance. She pressed a folded piece of paper into his hand. For Emma's dance lesson, she said, and before Marcus could protest, she added, my father taught me that the greatest gift we can give is allowing others to give to us. Marcus opened the note and found a check that would cover a year of lessons. He looked up, but Catherine was already walking away, her blue gown swaying and her head held high. Monday morning, Marcus stood in Robert Chen's office overlooking the city. The job offer was for a position in client relations with salary that would change everything for him and Emma. But why, Marcus asked. Because you reminded me what I built this company for, Robert said, to create value in people's lives. And you did more for my daughter in 3 minutes than all my money could do in 6 months. Marcus accepted the job, and over the following months, he watched Catherine slowly come back to life. She started a foundation supporting burn victims and accident survivors. She gave speeches about finding strength in scars and moving forward when the world tells you to hide. One evening a year later, Marcus and Emma attended the foundation's first fundraising gala. Catherine saw them and rushed over, sweeping Emma into a hug. This must be your amazing daughter. Emma beamed and Catherine knelt down. Your father is a very special man. Emma nodded. Seriously, I know, and he dances with me every night, even when he's tired. Catherine's eyes found Marcus, and in them he saw gratitude and friendship and hope. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest changes, she said. Marcus smiled. And sometimes a dance is just a dance until it becomes everything. Robert approached and placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Thank you, my friend, for seeing my daughter when everyone else looked away. Marcus watched Catherine laugh with Emma, and he thought about how one choice to be kind had transformed not just their lives, but his own. The band began to play the same jazz standard from that first night. Catherine extended her hand to Marcus. May I have this dance, she asked with a grin, and this time I'll try not to step on your toes. As they moved across the floor, Marcus realized that courage wasn't about grand gestures. It was about small moments of connection, and about choosing compassion over comfort, and about believing that everyone deserves to be seen. And sometimes that's all it takes to change the world. One dance at a time. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales of kindness and connection. And leave a comment below about a time someone's small act of kindness made a big difference in your life.